What's up everybody, Brian Tong here, and yes, I'm back from Comic-Con where I had the privilege to host the Mortal Kombat panel in front of this insane crowd. That was just wild, and it was so amazing. But you know what? You're here because we've got iPhone 15 news, we got the Apple Watch Ultra that could get lighter, and the first M3 Max are coming as early as this fall. So let's start off with the iPhone, and the latest report says the new 15 lineup will feature a new glass plastic hybrid lens with an f1.7 aperture, which is an improvement from the current f1.79 aperture on the 14 Pro. Now, the lower the number, the better, which results in a larger aperture that lets more light into the camera. This upgrade will also make the iPhone 15 series the first global smartphone to feature this new hybrid lens design. Xiaomi does it, but it's only in China, and this new hybrid lens system will reportedly have a single glass element and 6 plastic elements. Currently, the main wide camera in the iPhone 14 has 7 plastic lenses. Now, the iPhone 15 is still expected to use the same 48 megapixel Sony IMX sensor from the 14 Pro, and then the larger aperture will enable the wide camera to capture 20% more light. Now, that's a boost for low light conditions, and also a shallower depth of field gives you those buttery soft backgrounds in portrait mode. The report also says for next year's iPhone 16 Pro Max, the wide camera will be upgraded to an 8-part hybrid lens design with 2 glass elements and 6 plastic elements. And it will also increase the element lens systems for both the telephoto and ultra-wide cameras as well. Now, there was a recent report that the iPhone 15 lineup could also be using a new stacked battery technology that increases the energy density and gives the battery a prolonged lifespan. But that upgrade will now reportedly be moved to the iPhone 16 lineup alongside faster 40-watt wired charging and 20-watt wireless charging via MagSafe for Apple users. Now, this even newer camera system, the improved battery technology we talked about, and faster charging, those are 3 under-the-hood changes that won't be coming to this year's iPhone and will be introduced together for the iPhone 16 in 2024 if the reports are accurate. And those differences collectively, they're actually pretty impactful when you add them up, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, according to a new Bloomberg report, Apple is considering raising the price of the iPhone 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max this year. Yes, we've heard this story for the past 2 or 3 years, and we keep hearing it, and it still hasn't happened. Like, aren't they considering new pricing every year? Yeah, the current iPhone 14 Pro starts at $999, and the 14 Pro Max starts at $1099, but there might be something to this as the Pro line looks to differentiate itself even more, with multiple reports continuing to say that the 15 Pro Max will bring a new Periscope lens to the iPhone for the first time with up to a 6x optical zoom. And yes, Apple has been trailing multiple Android phones by at least 3 years with this feature. I mean, Samsung's 10 times optical zoom, they're laughing right now. A Periscope system typically has a primary lens that captures a photo, and then an angled mirror reflects the light 90 degrees. That's to a second lens that sends the image to the sensor. Now, this extended area and the position of the lenses allows for an extended focal length, but it also takes up valuable space. And there will reportedly be a rearranged camera layout to accommodate this new camera system. Now, that new arrangement would swap the lens positions of the telephoto lens and the ultra-wide lens. Right now, the Periscope lens is expected to be limited to the 15 Pro Max because it takes up more internal space for the new hardware. All right, let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, ProtoArc. This here is the ProtoArc modular 2-in-1 hub mouse that is one of the most unique mice I've ever used, because not only is it a low profile mouse that is smaller in size for taking with you on the go, but it's a 2-in-1 hub mouse specifically designed for Apple MacBook and iPad users, and it was successfully funded on Kickstarter. Now, inside its body is a 3-in-1 hub that you can take out, and it connects via USB 3.0. It gives you a USB-C port with power delivery, quick charging, a USB-A 3.0 port, and one 4K HDMI port so you can connect hard drives, keyboards, and other devices to it. Now, the hub is great for both the iPad and the Mac. It weighs 2.79 grams, so this is ultra light and has a sleek portable design. It also has a scroll wheel, so you can use it for productivity. It connects over Bluetooth and can connect to 3 different devices, including your Mac or an iPad, and it has a built-in rechargeable battery. Now, when you're done with the hub, look, you pop it back into the mouse's body in any direction, and you won't get it wrong. ProtoArc has a 20% discount when you use the code Brian at checkout. Get it now because it'll be adjusted to 10% after the first week. So check it out, the ProtoArc 2-in-1 Hub Mouse. All right, let's get back to the stories. And now reports claim that next year's iPhone 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max, they will both feature the Periscope lens technology, and Apple might even incorporate super telephoto Periscope cameras for an even more dramatically increased zoom. Samsung and others, again, they've already had a 10 times optical zoom, but none of the reports are throwing out just how much of an optical zoom Apple will actually be able to get in this super telephoto lens with their 2024 iPhone models. But that's a lot further down the line. The new iPhone 15 lineup for 2023 is rumored to get a USB-C port instead of Lightning for the first time, with all the phones getting the dynamic island treatment. Plus, you got the Pro lineup that'll feature a new titanium frame, the newest A17 chip with a 3nm process, and a new multi-function button that replaces the mute switch and will act like the action button on the Apple Watch Ultra. So we'll find out what's true and what's not in September. We've already heard from Mark Gurman that we can expect 2 new Apple Watch Series 9 models, right, 2 different sizes, and a new Apple Watch Ultra 2. Well, a new report from Chinese blogger who was also the same person to leak the yellow iPhone 14 model says the new Ultra will be lighter in weight. And even in my initial review, I like it for more adventurous sports, but for day-to-day, it's bigger and it's heavier than I'm normally used to. It weighs almost twice as much as a Series 8 aluminum model, and then 10 more grams than the 45mm stainless steel watch, which is this one right here. So one place it can lose some weight. Well, an earlier report by analyst Ming-Chi Kuo said that Apple is planning to use 3D printed parts for this year's Ultra. Some of those parts could include the digital crown, the side button, and the action button, which are currently CNC machined. This could also help with production time and reduce costs. And if this works out with the Apple Watch, maybe we could see Apple adopting 3D printing with other products down the road. Okay, the entire Apple Mac lineup has now transitioned over to the M2. We've done a lot of reviews on them here, and it is completely all Apple Silicon. So naturally, I think the next question is, which Mac will be the first one with an M3? Well, according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, the first M3 powered Macs from Apple will likely launch in October this year. He says his sources tell him that there will be an October event following Apple's iPhone event in September that we're still waiting for, and the focus of that one will be new Macs with M3 chips. Now, based on what's been refreshed already this year, Gurman says the next iMac, a 13-inch MacBook Air, and the new 13-inch MacBook Pro would likely be the candidates to see the entry-level M3 chips inside. And then you'll have the new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros in early 2024. Remember, those were just refreshed in January, and they're expected to get M3 Pro and M3 Max chips. Now, the M3 will be built using a 3nm process, which brings even better performance and even better power efficiency compared to the 5nm based M2 chip family. And this is truly going to be the next significant jump in performance for Apple Silicon, even if you thought it was already too OP. Oh, sorry, Mom. OP, that stands for overpowered. And I have to remember that you're watching this too, so maybe you can try and use that in a sentence at home. But that just means that the current Macs are already ridiculously fast for what you and most people do, and are going to get even faster with a new M3 chip. And of course, Apple's always working on upgrading its hardware. Gurman also says Apple is actively working on the 6th generation iPad Air. We know that Apple's mid-range iPad, that really is truly the sweet spot for anyone with its 10.9-inch display. It can really handle pretty much everything the regular tablet user does, and it currently has an M1 chip inside it, so it's time to get a spec bump. But at the same time, even with the M1, no one is complaining that it's too slow. I mean, there are times where I've wondered, is Apple Silicon just getting too good now? I know it sounds silly, but at every level, right? We're getting to the point where these machines have incredible power that maybe only 5% of its users really needs now. And yes, more power and more overhead allows you more things, and those things then do trickle down. I mean, it's important to keep on pushing this, but the battery life is already impressive. It keeps getting better. These machines stay ridiculously cool. I know for a fact they aren't breaking down nearly as much, and I'm the type of user that always wants more power. I mean, it's been so good for the general consumer, and it's also been so good for me that I had no reason to upgrade any of my machines from an M1 Max, right? That's my MacBook Pro, that's my workhorse, to anything at the M2 level. I just completely skipped any M2 upgrades, and if I'm being a smart consumer, I really don't need another update for, honestly, I could probably go at least 2 or 3 years, maybe even 4. And the key word is being need to upgrade, not want. So we'll see how the M3 performs when it drops. Obviously, really enticing for me. And stop if you heard this one already, but people still want to talk about it. According to Digitimes and their supply chain sources, Apple is still considering releasing a foldable iPad in the future. Now, we've heard plenty of rumors and reports that they've been working and experimenting with foldable phones for several years, and they are now looking to extend that to their tablets. Rumor reports from Ming-Chi Kuo said Apple would launch a foldable iPad in 2024. But to me, there's no way that I can see that happening, and no one else has reported it yet. Kuo claims the foldable iPad would have an all-new design, be lightweight, and have a carbon fiber kickstand. So we'll see. And of course, yes, Apple is considering everything. They've always done that, but the market still hasn't even moved enough for Apple to step in and say, hey, we're going to do it our way now. So like many things, they're going to keep on playing that long game here. But I know there's a lot of you, including me, that would actually love to see Apple's version of a foldable anything. So what do you think about that? Put in the comments. I mean, that's what they're for. And you know what? Before we go, the last video I did from this here in the setup, I told you that I was going to go on a little break. I got a little married with the bling bling. So I thought that I'd share a little teaser video that was made by Encore Studio down here in Southern California, and it still gives me goosebumps. Like, I don't share my personal life stuff very often, but this is pretty amazing. That was so beautiful. And who's that guy crying in there? Come on. So that was an incredible day. Yeah, it was amazing. And yeah, that video was also kind of epic. But I honestly believe that you all had a part in that day because, you know, I made the jump here to YouTube to be totally independent 5 years ago. And it was damn scary. And it took me a few years to get to the point where I could literally pay my bills, and then to see that maybe I could actually make a living doing this long term. And if you didn't keep watching and supporting, you know, I honestly really don't know where I'd be. So thank you. Thank you so much. I honestly really appreciate all of you who watch, all of you who support on the Patreon, and all of you who listen to the podcast. It means so much. And you know what I also do? I love reading all the comments. So keep them coming, both good and bad. And if they're mean, you know, I'm just going to call you out. So I'll keep bringing you the best that I can, and I'm going to keep on bringing you unique content that you won't find anywhere else, like a wedding video, because clearly that's why you came here. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast with the latest stories and special guests. Thanks again so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.